Rich.
Here we go.
Hallo, herzlich willkommen hier auf der Boot 2025 auf der Axopar 45 Cross Cabin. Und wir versuchen ja immer was, I'm gonna switch in English, yeah, it's just the intro in German. Wir versuchen ja immer was Besonderes zu machen, irgendwie das Ganze ein bisschen aufzulockern. Und dementsprechend hatte ich jetzt nicht die Intention, nochmal mit Tom hier auf der Axopar 45 zu sein, sondern ich habe jemand aus dem Axopar Dealer Network, ein Freund, ein Kollege rausgesucht, der uns aus einem ganz anderen Revier jetzt von der Axopar 45 berichten wird. Und ich habe the great pleasure
the Great Lakes.
The great pleasure to sit here together with Rich from Manitowoc Marina. They are the Axopar dealer in the US at the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan. And we just, I was wrong. I thought he would be in Maine, like at the East Coast, but he's more or less like north central of the US, whereas like Lake Michigan. And I just told him that my father in the 70s was importing carver boats into Europe, and my parents did their planned honeymoon on the Lake Michigan. And now comes the funny story. And they had from Carver, they had a boat from them to be given for their 2 weeks of honeymoon. And it was all so beautiful, and they went out onto the Lake Michigan, or I don't know, one of these lakes there, definitely. And then there was this amazing island, nobody, and they stepped on land, and it was loads of mosquitoes there.
Oh yeah.
So my mother had the first down. Yeah, she was like, felt like being in the Caribbean, but it was not. So loads of mosquitoes. And the next step then was they anchored somewhere, and she was up for a swim, but the water was like in Scandinavia, it was 16 degrees or something.
Yeah.
Which then my father had to, find a new setup. They rebooked the whole honeymoon and went down to the Caribbean. so the honeymoon was not continued on a boat on the Lake of Michigan. So it was in the end in the Caribbean somewhere, I don't know where. I think it was to the Bahamas they went then, and they had some good time there.
That's a funny story.
Yeah, that's a funny. Yeah, so that was Lake Michigan for my parents, told many times. So Lake Michigan then, as I was just told, as my parents experienced. So you have like cold water, so the boating is a little bit comparable like in Scandinavia then in your region.
Yeah, it's very comparable to Scandinavia. The water in the summertime perhaps gets as warm as, could get to plus 20 maybe.
Okay.
But then you're lucky.
Okay.
But it's a big body of water. It's Lake Michigan itself is 350 nautical miles north and south, and the winds tend to
350 nautical miles. Just for you to put in perspective, this is going from Cannes to south of Sardinia.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yep, that's
just
right.
this is like 350 nautical miles. This is a lake, and it's like nearly the destination of going all the destination to Africa, not all the way, but nearly. So crazy.
Yep. And so in the winds in the summertime typically either blow out of the south or out of the north, rarely out of the east or west. So it's always, because it's a north and south lake, it can get rough when the wind does pipe up. In that the Axopar 45 has been a great boat for that. A lot of my customers that we've sold the 45s to, mostly they like to use it for entertaining and have, they like the social accommodations of the boat.
So the balcony doors, for example,
the
is something.
balcony doors and all that. But they like the idea that if they have to go somewhere, it can handle the conditions and safely and comfortably.
But it's also that they need, in fact, an enclosed boat in your conditions there. Oh, when you're talking about 15, 18 degrees water, we are always telling that in the videos, or also the customers, at this level we are here now, you have the wind, which is not the wind which is blowing in general. You also have the driving wind, and the driving wind in fact is the water temperature, because we are just above the water, so you're moving through the air, and the driving wind is felt in 18 degrees at 30 knots. Is cold.
That's right.
So you really need an enclosed boat at these water temperatures to be comfortable, to be able to invite friends, to be sure that they have a good time with you on board.
Yeah, absolutely right. With the 45s or any of the Axopars for that matter, the cabin boats are our most popular seller. And what we use, if the wind blows out of the south, it usually is not really south, it's southeast. It comes in on a little bit of an angle. And if you're heading north, you can shut that. You can shut the starboard door.
Yes.
And it stops the breeze from blowing in. You keep the port door open, and so you still got some fresh air coming through.
And still the connection to the
There's still
water.
Connection to the water, but you can, or if the wind switches, you can do the opposite.
Okay. And where do they go then? Is it like my parents? There's these islands. You just with sandy beaches. You can go there, or then you beach the boat, or you go on anchor.
No, mostly today they like to go from dock to dock.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
But there are islands, there are anchorages, but a lot of people like to go from dock to dock. They tie up at a slip and they do some entertaining. Maybe they may go for dinner, or they cook dinner on board the boat, and then they do the whole thing over the next day.
So what you say from the age group? What age group are they? So is it they're younger people? So let's say mid 40s to mid 50s.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's what we
exactly
also
right.
see. So in general, in my world, I would say we're having quite young customers who like this kind of boat, like the 45 cross cabin. It's not a cheap boat because it's a quite big boat, but it attracts people who just want to be different. They want a different usage out of a boat. They want a different style. So it's quite a message if you drive this boat. It's like a sportive message.
Exactly. That's one of the most exciting things to me about Axopar. For years, I've been thinking about, okay, who's going to take the place of these older boaters when they decide they don't want to boat anymore? And how are we going to get the younger people involved? All of a sudden, Axopar comes along, and most of our clients are younger. They're under the age of 55 years old. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's for me the same. So we as both sales guys, probably for some decades, it's like you always think, the first sell is the most difficult one, and then you are like connecting to the customer. He's becoming like a friendship way of relationship with him, and then in the next boat there's even more trust there, and the deal is getting a better deal for the both sides because you know how he is, he knows how you are, and it's always a long time relationship. But if the customer starts, as we have that with Axopar, in the mid 40s, then there's quite a way to go, which is good for us. Good for the customer as well, because he has a trusted relationship with us where we do all the effort to make him give him a comfortable zone, a comfortable service, and I think in the end it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, we always believe, I never want to sell you a boat. I want you to buy a boat from me because I'm going to take care of you and service you and make sure you have a good time on the water.
That's also what we are aiming for.
We do.
Yeah, same for us. This is exactly the same, and the 45, as you said. I have even beginners with the 45. That's in general with the Axopar, or the 37s. I would say in every size of the Axopar, I have so many beginners, which I have where I'm coming from normally with the brands. This I didn't have before. It's a very similar feel, and this is very nice to see. So you can really see that Axopar, with this marketing of the adventure, of the design they do with their boat, also the price leading factor they have, like when it comes to what you get out of the boats for the value for pricing, is a very good position, which I think this age group is also looking very much in detail. They don't want too much, overpriced stuff. They really want, they know what they want, and they know what this should cost. So they're very well informed. They're using all the internet possibilities to research what is a good value for price.
I agree with that.
And this is
whether in Germany or the United States.
It's very interesting. So that the brand somehow, like in this different, I would say in general we are probably very different when it comes to characters, like how we buy things. But now you're describing this is very similar, which I find very interesting. That this is the case. So. Is the outboard in fact an advantage also for your region, like the outboard, or?
Yeah, that's what people want. It's a huge advantage. Now, some people in the United States would say, why don't we have five 300s on the back or something? But
this is just in the US. In Germany, they ask for two. So I really have the problem that there is three, and that people would rather have two in the back, because this is then, and they're also in Germany, they want the horsepower being taken off
Yep.
because the engines, you know, they're so low noise.
Right.
So if you approach a harbor, nobody will ask even, you know, how much horsepower it is, because so low. You could even put like electric on there. You know,
Right,
the
right,
V10s,
right, right.
especially now with the Bravo's performance package, doesn't fit really to the V10s, because the V10s, if you have them in silent mode, you know,
Yep.
they are like, you can't see that they run, because
yeah,
they're
yeah.
so low noise and so low vibrations.
Yeah.
And this is what the people in Germany really appreciate on the outboards, is the very little noise,
Yeah.
or very little,
When we have the Americans that question why we don't have more outboards or more horsepower, I said, no, wait. Let me take you for a ride. And then you take this thing out and you do some turns with it and so forth. And as you know, it doesn't skip or chatter. It just digs in and carves. You know,
it's a very good name. You know, almost learn from you guys some words you use for describing something. This is, you can only learn in conversation. And what you said is like very true for that boat. It carves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on the skis. It takes the turns as probably best from all Axopars. Huh?
Yep.
It doesn't slip at all. It's really, it just goes around, but doesn't hook in. It doesn't slide. It's just.
Yep.
And this on a 45 footer. And this is, I think, also very unique, that you have a 45 footer with all this space, but you still have fun on driving it. Because I'm always pointing this out. Normally, when you have the money, very, very strange, if you have the money to be buying bigger boats, it's taking away normally something very important, the pleasure on boating.
Right. That's exactly right.
So you're going bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You should be happier and happier. But if you're very true, it's getting more and more boring.
Yeah.
Because you're just driving around a truck.
That's right. That's right.
And this is on the Axopar, I would say, is very unique, that a 45 drives like a 37 or even a 29.
Yeah.
Very agile, very responsive, but on the other hand, very safe and very capable, as you said in the beginning, of taking big wave.
Yeah.
As I also learned from you guys, big rollers.
Big rollers. No, we don't, and that's an interesting thing on Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
We don't have big rollers.
Because
We have short,
hard waves.
hard wave, big square waves, because it's very tight. It's
What are the water depths then? In
water depth is 200 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
pretty deep.
Okay. So why? Because rollers can only come even
Yep.
longer than 300 nautical miles.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the East Coast, West Coast, they got the rollers.
Yeah.
Here we have the big square waves.
And any fishing being done from the Axopar then for these guys, or not so
Yeah,
much?
you know, I don't know anybody on our 45 customers that fish, but on our 37s and 29 customers, absolutely.
They're active
Yep,
in
yep.
on
We're
this.
looking forward to that CCX. I think that's going to be a good seller.
What other brands you sell? Just to
We sell, as you know, power boats, and we
Yeah.
sell X-Yacht sailboats.
Okay, extra stuff. So also a Scandinavian habit
Yep.
in the from Denmark.
Yep.
And the motorboat market in general, is it in the US? It's growing for European brands,
growing.
huh?
It's growing. Yeah, the people are really adapted to the European brand. I think we do a very good job of communicating to the customers how great these Axopars are put together and constructed, and the attention to detail that goes into building these boats, and people understand that. You
Okay.
know.
It's interesting because, you know, like in my boating life, let's say, I'm 46 years old, so I would say I remember since I'm 10 years old, so 36 years of boating life in my head. I would say the first 10 years were mainly impacted, beside my parents selling Nimbus since '82, but like if you were going like in the middle of the 80s through this boat show here, it was dominated by American boat brands.
Yep,
Yeah?
yep.
So the American boat brands were until the 2000s or so fully dominating the European market.
Right.
And it's quite interesting to see how that then now swapped. I would not say the European market dominate the US market, but they get a bigger share and
They have a
share.
presence. They have a presence. That's right. That's right.
And that's, I think, interesting and to see. And I'm very proud for Axopar there, because again, I'm with the brand since the start. I have been involved with many of the changes and have supported my team them very well. And it makes me also very proud, for example, as Axopar now took the European Powerboat of the Year again for the 29 cross cabin. As I was here when we were the first time exhibiting Axopar here 10 years ago on the Düsseldorf Boat Show, and we had the 28 you're getting the European Powerboat of the Year. So that's very nice coincidence after 10 years anniversary the Axopar has this year.
Yep.
What is your favorite boat you're using?
I like the 37.
You like the 37?
I like the 37. The 37 is a good fit for Lake Michigan because it's small enough and efficient enough that it doesn't cost a lot of money and fuel to take it somewhere. But you have some accommodation. You can spend a night or two on it, no problem. And it can
but then a cross cabin as well, for sure.
Oh, cross cabin as well. Yep. And it has the ability to to be able to handle the sea conditions when they do pick up.
The 37 is such a good boat. I really love it as well. So this is, it's already now in the 5th year, yes, but it's so thought through, so well, ready. This is such a ready boat. When you go in the cross cabin next door to us, it's like, I love it. And then also with the aft cabin or the wet bar, or what do you take?
Well, I prefer the aft cabin.
Yes.
But the wet bar, it's about 2/3 aft cabin, 1/3 wet bar.
Okay, and multi-story is not for you at all?
No, not really.
Okay, that for us it's because the people love in the Med to put the water toys inside. And here with the 45,
we have cold water, so people don't really worry about the water toys.
I forgot that. And here on the 45, which aft cabin layout, which aft deck layout you have here?
The aft cabin.
The aft cabin, both of them.
Yeah.
And also med pack, or you take
the med pack's nice.
That's what the people like. Good. Anything else special you put then on the boats, or is it more or less like, do you take them with air condition and
air conditioning becoming a very popular feature.
Also on the 37s,
yes,
for us as well.
Yep. Not heat, not too much, but air conditioning.
Yeah, same for us. Even you can heat with the air condition as well, and so this is not an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we have any questions? No.
Yep.
Good. Cool. Then I wish you. Are you staying here until the end of the week?
No, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh,
unfortunately.
that was a good fit then.
Yeah, it was.
Very cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Patrick.
Thank you. I hope
right.
I can at some point visit you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
You're always
would
welcome.
like to. Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you very much.
All right,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
Yeah.